Hello, everyone. Just making sure the stream's all working. Is it working? Whoa, something happened. Hey, Squeakfish. What's up? I think this stream is working now. Some reason it's not working on my end. I don't know. Let me know if it's not working. I'm still just getting set up here and haven't really decided what to draw yet. We'll figure that out as we go. And forewarning, I just woke up a little bit ago, so I'm still recovering from sleepiness. It's you? Who's you? You might have to be more descriptive. I do have a lot of Halloween on the mind, so maybe I'll do something Halloween themed. Oh, you! Oh, okay. Is you as in Drew? Are you gonna have the students give themselves away as students? Be like, I'm a student. I'm just gonna doodle a little bit first, so loosen up. Thanks. My new nickname on here is the Ginger Beard Man. Oh, how's the volume working? I always like to ask people to make sure it's working out all right. You have no idea how the volume is? Can you not hear me? Can you hear my voice all right then? Oh, volume is good? Okay, good. Probably gonna do... Why does my mouse keep doing that? Maybe something Halloweeny themed. New Siri, her ginger beard, and hopefully. Oh, well, good job, Siri. Siri knows what's up. She's like, "Are you interested in ginger beards or gingerbread?" The stream froze? Try reloading it. If we do have problems with Twitch, we can always use YouTube if Twitch isn't working. If we do have problems with Twitch, we can always. I'm just gonna make a quick gravestone. Kind of just coming up with the design here. And whoops. I already dropped part of the design, but I want to see if I can come up with something else just while we're waiting for people to join. I'm not too worried about accuracy. Is the stream still messing up? Do you know if it's your stream or is it someone else's? Do you know anyone else could just test it out really quick? Well, I'm sure we'll have some. Hey, Mumbles. You're my moderator for the day. Tell me if you can stick around. I needed you kind of yesterday. Oh, there's just a guy that was being semi-annoying and not so cool. It wasn't really that bad. It looks like a chef's. I'm just gonna draw this. I don't know why I'm doing that there. Mumbles, is the stream working for you all right? Seems to be fine. It might just be you. Or maybe it's Scad's internet. They've let you down. Trying to decide what to draw. I'm sorry I'm not talking too much. I'm still waking up a little bit. I should be good to go soon here. How's everyone's morning going so far? I'm just gonna draw everything out instead of doing the 3D modeling thing today. Twist this just a little bit. Still no Ethernet, huh? It's not cool. Is just the whole school out of internet there, Mumbles? Hey, Squigglefish, can I just call you by your name? Just, so your class knows who you are and stuff? Is that alright, or...? Hey, welcome back. Oh, it's Comcast messing up? Squigglefish? Okay. And if it's who I assume you are Andrew. So I think I'm gonna do kind of a gravestone thing here. Maybe with like a hand kind of bursting out of the ground or something like that. So let's draw, let's see. Maybe like a skeleton hand. Skeleton hand. If I can remember my anatomy. So we got the main twisting. Thumb is over by the big one. I don't even remember. We'll figure that out later. We'll have it kind of like raw. I'm just gonna use my own hand as reference. Or maybe we'll just won't even do the hand. We'll just have it be, yeah, just forget the hand for now. And I'm just kind of thinking up like some kind of carving out an area in here. Fortunately, Oh, you won't know which students are which? Do we have, are there students here? Did people make it in? No. Yeah, my anatomy is bleh. They'll just learn how far you can get without. I'm just designing this gravestone here, just thinking about how it's put together. And maybe I'll add some more intricate details to the base here. I figure the sketching part can be, you know, I can start that. That's not too bad if they miss something like that. I did finish up, I was gonna show the painting process more on last night's painting, but I actually finished that one up. I'll pull it up just to show what I was doing. And this one took me a little longer than normal. Actually, it was, let's see, normally I get stuff done like maybe 6 to 8 hours. It's kind of a common question. This one, it took me probably closer to 10 or 12, I would say. So here's what I did finished this up last night. And I'll be posting links to this and kind of the process, how I jumped through it. I can also show the sketch that this was based off of. So there's the sketch. Pretty rough, but has the general idea. And then here's the final. And for this one I did use, 3D modeling and stuff, so there's that. And I do that pretty commonly for a lot of my work. And I'm just looking through some of my other sketches for maybe some inspiration or something. The process that I'll be posting, the only part it does skip out on, it will probably skip out on the I did use modeling, so it won't show all the modeling process. But you can watch all the other streams, or the whole painting process still is available up on the stream, so you can just watch that. But yeah, maybe I'll put a tree back here too, or maybe this will be in a forest instead of. So I'm just kind of think about the curvature of this tree, and I'm trying to think about some tangents and stuff that are happening. Hey Boba, thanks for the follow and welcome to the stream. So I'm just kind of figuring out, still thinking about what the composition will be, like what's going to go on over here. Am I going to have like a, hey Set, how's it going? Welcome back. And maybe I'll continue on another graveyard over here. You know the Boba. And today I'm keeping the chat off the screen just so we can keep, so everyone can see the layers. So we're supposed to have some students here. I don't know if they've showed up yet though. I'm gonna have this branch. I want it to kind of come forward and kind of slither on the ground. So I'm just kind of sculpting out that and showing those rings. And I want this to kind of go across here. Set is not a student. Set, maybe Set's a student, but Set is from from last night. See, I might just do this as like in a forest or something. We could do all kinds of different trees. Maybe make it spooky with kind of like these more branchy type trees. A student of life. Meow. Have we had any students show up in here yet, Andrew? Or are they skipping out on their homework? Maybe I'll have it like the gravestones have been here longer than the trees, and they like kind of pop around, getting pushed around by the tree. So how's everyone doing today? Hey, Boba. You working on that freelance, Boba? Maybe we'll have like some sort of stone or something has been left on top of this grave. Gotta watch that tangent though. Maybe it'll be a circular. Let's see, we'll draw it circular like here. Draw on the basic shapes. I'm gonna figure out which way it's facing, and I'll just erase. Just put that wheel of cheese down here. Hey, Pixel Bangs, welcome to the stream. Yeah, I've got a freelance project I've got to finish up. It's actually that one right there. We'll just call this SCAD sketching. Maybe let's see. Okay, have a forest. Could do a mausoleum or something back here. Be similar to what I had the other night, or we could do kind of some maybe a path leading across here. I don't like that cheese wheel. It doesn't look good. Diamond. We'll go with the favorite shape. Hey, Cornby? Cavornby, welcome to the stream. Probably don't make this too complicated if I'm gonna finish it all in one stream. Let's see, maybe we'll have a tree just block a bunch of, let's see, kind of in this thirds area, just block the composition. Hey, Pixel Bangs, thanks for the follow. This one I might just paint without any 3D. I could do the 3D process if everyone wants to see that, maybe. I haven't really decided yet. I'm doing a little bit more of a detailed sketch to kind of show how I would use just 2D. Just go with it from there. And I'm kind of just showing how I plan out some of these shapes. Thinking about how these roots curve off of here and everything like that. I'm not sure if we'll take it to finish, but we'll see how it goes. Mainly just figuring out the ideas right now. And we could do some kind of mountain stuff in the background maybe. Just kind of exploring and sketching at the same time, just figuring out what I want to do. Pretty much my only theme going was I want to do some sort of Halloween-ish stuff. So graveyard, you know, spooky maybe. Spooky, scary skeletons. Something along those lines. So I'm just doodling right now. I woke up super early, but I had gone to bed super late, so I tried to get back to bed, and it took forever for me to fall asleep. So then when I woke up, again, it was pretty close to when I said I was going to start my stream. Trying to think what, you know, maybe I could just do what I did yesterday with the gravestone right there in the corner. We could have some, I want to do like bleak trees without any leaves. Okay, see you, Boba. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, I didn't actually eat lunch yet. Lunch does sound good. Do we, well, that's good. Maybe I'll have leaves in the ground and stuff. We'll go for like a more of a brown grass color and things like that. That might work out. Could have like a fallen tree coming across here. That might be a nice foreground element. And just something like right there. Yeah, I kind of like that. And then we could have some sticks shooting off of it. Just a happy fallen tree. Boop, boop, boop. Yeah, I think that would work. Maybe some of the bark's missing. Let's kind of chip away at the bark. Could be overgrown with some moss. Maybe we'll overgrow some moss on top of this too. Just kind of giving myself some hints on where I might take this once I go a little further. And I'm still thinking about lighting. How am I gonna, you know, is this nighttime, daytime? I mean, I might just go with the nighttime one again. Nice direct moonlight lighting source. Old tree just sitting down, taking a nap. Feels really empty back here. I can't quite. You know, I'm gonna do a test here, and I'm gonna think about like really kind of swervy trees. So we're gonna have like trees like trying to mix up my angles here, and then so kind of spookier looking trees. Maybe they wrap and taper around like this. I have maybe a larger offshoot branch right here. Maybe one kind of right on the edge here. I'm doing it so most of it's in view still. It's not like cropped right down the middle or anything like that. I want to avoid that just in case, you know, if you crop something right down the middle or crop it so only a tiny bit's left, it's going to look really weird compositionally. And now the strange thing about this is actually this tree up front, so I think I might just get rid of that tree right here. And I'm going to swap that out for a nice, crazy looking, it's going to be a real big sucker right here. And I'm thinking I might do a few more of those. I kind of like that. So we'll leave that one in the back, but I'm going to we're going to change this one out a little bit too. It's just it's too discontinuous from the rest of the trees. I want to make them all kind of have that twisted, like give them just a spookier vibe generally. This one's a little too, yeah, so that's starting to get more of the feeling I want in this. I have another root kind of growing into this grave here. Maybe I'll move this. I'll have just like just a hint of fingers popping through there or something. Not sure what I'll do there yet. If I was working for a client or something, I'd have very specific goals and ideas in mind. This is more of a relaxing kind of just figuring out what I'm working on, figuring out the drawing as I go. Like these sort of twisted trees, like they're spiraling up, and so we're gonna go back to these guys back here. Start just kind of figuring out how I want this branch to go. Maybe it's on the back side of the tree, so maybe it's not sticking out as much. This one, gotta keep that taper correct. Okay, I'm starting to like that more, so I'm actually just gonna merge those layers down. Erase some of the scribbles back here. I think I'm gonna get rid of the mountains. I don't really like mountains. Doesn't feel correct. Let's curve this around. We'll have this one kind of splitting off right here. I'm thinking of interesting positive and negative shapes. So a positive shape would be the tree itself, and the negative shape is the area it's creating between. I'm still carving the shape in. I've got some tree references and stuff over here on the side. One of them is actually a local tree that's kind of famous. It's the angel oak tree. I thought there was this tree that had a really nice taper and stuff to it. I thought I had that one, but I'm just going through and cleaning up my sketch a little bit here. I think instead of mountains, I'm gonna push the idea of intense clouds again. I think mumbles. just gonna put some different, let's kind of play around with these different gravestones. Some will have little flares sticking out. I'm just drawing basic shapes on them. Some simpler ones back here. And then I think, just for reference, I'm going to draw this in here, but it's going to be on a separate layer. I'm going to do some clouds. I want the clouds to create this as the focal point, so they're all going to kind of be swirling around this object, kind of all colliding into the center area here. I was just going to kind of show my process and stuff. I was hoping they would have some questions and kind of like a sort of a Q&A and stuff, but I don't know if any of them even showed up. I don't know. Andrew, have any of these students appeared? Or were they too busy partying last night? You'll be my student. Well, I mean, you can message them and they can claim to be the student or not. If no one claims to be a student, then if they're in YouTube, I can see their chat too, and I don't see their chat. So any students out there, come forth and say that you're a student. Admit the truth. I'll see if anyone's watching the other stream. Come forth and say that you're a student. Whoop. Hey, Sketcher. How's it going? Yeah, you're in the wrong school, state, degree. So, but yeah, Mumbles is a student, so does he get extra credit, Andrew? Is there some kind of trans school extra credit so you can cross it over to different schools? Oh, we have a student. Where are you a student at SCAD? Cybersecurity. I was deleting this and I put it on a layer so I can easily flip this stuff. I'm gonna take a look at it this way for a little bit, make sure it still reads. I'm checking my perspective and stuff like that. Yeah, thanks for stopping by. Oh, hey Mumbles, has that that credit thing kicked in where people are getting? Are you a student from SCAD? There's supposed to be some students from SCAD in here, but yes, we have a SCAD student in here. Should we give like identifying numbers so that Andrew can be like student number 1215? Has appeared. So it looks like I have, if you look at my perspective, it's a little bit wonky right here. So, and I noticed that from flipping the canvas, which you should do a lot. So I'm actually just going to grab this side of the drawing and hit Control T and kind of just skew it down a little bit. Which that fixed the issue down here, but it sort of messed up the top of my thing here. So we're just gonna... Yeah, Andrew, it looks like we have a student or two in the YouTube chat. And if you want to pull up the stream in both of them if you want to see the chat stuff. Okay, so we've got that fixed now. Oh! Kavorn 20 is also a student. You know, maybe what I'll do too, so this is my cloud layer. And that's just gonna be, I'm gonna draw all those in, or paint all those in. Maybe what I'm gonna do too though is have like a wrapping vine kind of swirling around this a little bit. So I'm just gonna kind of follow the I'll just toss some leaves on or something. For the students in the YouTube channel, CMPA or design? Okay, now I want to jump back over here, and this is looking a little too smooth. I want to make it a little bit more, not rectangle necessarily, not like, I don't know, I just want to kind of break it up so it's not so curvy. I want to kind of, yeah, so it's a little bit sharper looking. And maybe I'll have this branch split off in this direction. And then maybe I'll have this branch, like it's gonna go around the grave kind of and swoop up and across. And just kind of like that. And this is a little strange to me that the grass kind of ends there, so I'm gonna bring that up just a little bit higher, this foreground element. And I'm kind of, the ground's a little flat back here, so I'm kind of giving myself some ideas of how the... Oh, we have another SCAD student. They're starting to appear. Okay. I'm gonna take all these, and so there's, I was gonna do that as a sketch, and just get rid of that layer. And I'll set this to maybe overlay or multiply. We'll do multiply to start with. I'm gonna start blocking in the colors now, which I don't have any idea what those colors are yet. Well, I have some vague ideas. I think sky, I'm gonna start with kind of this deeper purple, and kind of to come up with my colors, I'm gonna think of my main primary color. So almost think of the painting in a monochromatic way, like so it's all affected by this light source. So I'm gonna throw this down. This is gonna be in the background. So now we already have, just by throwing that down, we already know this is a nighttime scene. So now, let's see. I'm gonna kind of figure out what this foreground color might be. So if it's grass or whatever, and I'll show a few ways so you can kind of figure out those colors and kind of blend them to fit the environment. Angus Ocean asks, what advice would you give someone new to Photoshop in their concept? So you're wondering what kind of advice I'd give to someone that's new to concept art and using Photoshop? Is that basically your question? Here's the color of grass I want to use. That actually already works pretty good. So I'm going to turn up the saturation a little bit. I'm going to grab a little bit of the blue and kind of just drag it across a little bit. I would, starting out in Photoshop, I would try to stick to maybe one element of Photoshop to kind of get used to it. So maybe you just go in there and just sketch. You don't deal with too many layers. Definitely try to keep your layers down, the amount of layers you're using in a painting or drawing or whatever you're doing. Do like just one layer to start, and just keep it really simple. Don't go too crazy. Set was saying too, you can check out Matt Core's Control Paint. He has really good beginner tutorials. And I think Matt Core actually might be from SCAD as well. I got interested in concept art. I guess I could just kind of tell how I got into art and everything. I'll try to make it brief. When I was a little kid, I drew all the time. I was always drawing birds and stuff like that from a very young age, and I started getting into, when I was a little bit older, I started getting into gaming a lot more. When I was younger, I didn't really play any games and whatnot. And my dad got me Unreal Tournament, I think it was. And yeah, it was. And I started playing that a lot. And when I kind of finished playing the game, I was like, well, I want to make more content for this game. So I started playing around with the Unreal editor, which that was the original Unreal editor that they had. And when I pause, I'm looking at the chat, and I started building maps and stuff. And some of the early maps I did, I like recreated my own house and things like that. And I would show my mom, and she'd be like, "Oh my God, what? This is kind of horrifying," because all of the bots and everything were still spawning, and the enemies were just exploding jibs everywhere and whatnot. And it was just like, "Oh, this is gross." But she was still impressed with it and everything, so that was, it was nice to see. For some reason I'm having... Oh, here we go. All layers. My color picker wasn't working. So I was really getting into map design, 3D design, stuff like that. And one of my brother's friends saw me, at this time I was starting getting into modeling then, saw me working on like modeling something in Maya. I had no education as far as 3D or anything at that point. And he mentioned that there's a community college, like a local community college, that does, has a lot of courses and stuff with kind of related fields. So I was like, oh, cool. So I started going to community college, and that's what got me like into illustration. That's kind of the degree I've followed the whole time. So I started doing that track, and I kind of focused a lot on drawing people, portraits, and things like that. But I didn't really even know about concept art yet at this point. I was still just kind of going, I was like, oh, I'll just be like, I don't know what I was thinking. I guess I thought I would just be a fine artist or something. I didn't really have a plan for what I was going to do. I just sort of was going for it. And I started going there, and I just focused on the drawing and everything. And I switched to go to NMU, Northern Michigan University, and there I focused again on portraits and everything like that. And I met an artist there, Jake Panying. I'm always terrible at saying his name. He works at Blizzard now. I think it's spelled like that. I'll type it out in chat. And he was just starting out as a concept artist there, and his work was amazing already, and he's still amazing, even more so. Like his most recent stuff he worked on was the Bastion, like short from Blizzard for Overwatch. It was super cool. Anyways, I saw his work and I was like, oh, I want to do concept art. So I started saying that I was going for concept art while I was at NMU, and I didn't even know exactly what that was or what that entailed, I guess. But I was saying that's what I wanted to do. That's what I was telling people. And so that's why I started focusing on that. Well, I didn't focus on the concept art. I was just drawing stuff and being like, I'm doing concept art, but I didn't really have an idea of what that was. I kind of got into conceptart.org and things like that. And So I finished there, and I moved to Chicago, and I ended up doing graphic design for 4 years, and I hated it. So I was like, I got to get out of here. I'm tired of this. So I applied to SCAD and got in, and purposely got fired from my job. So I had unemployment that summer, and so I was collecting unemployment and painting all summer and drawing and building portfolios, preparing for SCAD. And I got to SCAD and I went into the illustration department thinking that they would be pro concept art. And at that point there was we'll just say there was a chair there that he wasn't so good. It's not the current chair. He didn't really like concept art. He was all about editorial, and he's no longer there. But and so there I was starting to get like off track of concept art again and starting to do editorial and stuff, and I didn't really enjoy it all that much. But then I had a class with Mia Goodwin, who used to teach there, and she works over at Retro Studios now. And Andrew actually took that class with me, and it turned around basically my career and everything completely. And I made this huge portfolio. It was like a 50-page book, all based on Hansel and Gretel. And I got a job right out of my master's degree, where I currently work now at Kids Studios. And from there, I really just started focusing on doing environment art, and I started getting in the habit of always wanting to learn more about the field, figure out more. Oh, thanks for the follow, George. And so I just kind of kept evolving my process, which now includes a lot of 3D and sketching and sculpting. It's just kind of like a whole smorgasbord that I use. This one I'm just kind of focusing on the 2D aspect. Because the other part you have to do rendering and stuff. It can get kind of tedious sometimes. And so I guess that's kind of the longish, shortish, mediumish story of how I got into concept art. And right now what I'm doing here, thank you for the follow, Crazy Artist. Let me hear, I kind of skipped on the chat for a little bit. Were there any other questions? Hey Eric, welcome to the chat. Hey, thanks George, appreciate it. Yeah, so in the last I started posting stuff on ArtStation. That's actually kind of what got me going and kind of striving to do art like all the time, more so. And I started setting myself mini goals for how many followers or whatever I get on ArtStation. And I started doing some kind of before and after paintings. Like I'd do a painting and then I'd redo the same painting a year later. So let me pull up one of those. It's kind of... Thank you, Angus. Appreciate it. Okay, I'm gonna pull up. I think it's like 3 years or 2 years old now. And I actually have to go through my ArtStation and clear up some stuff. There's some stuff that I don't really like on there anymore. And I always encourage people to just kind of keep flowing through their work and just getting rid of stuff. So I did this painting, this one right here on the top. That was 2 years ago. And then this one under here was a year ago. And I kind of want to redo this painting again. It's not like the greatest composition or anything like that, but I might just redo it again to see what it would look like now, like, and kind of see my progress. So then if you look through here, I'm starting to use 3D stuff here. Like this building I modeled that out in 3D and painted over it. And I'm starting to use 3D more and more. Here's I'm starting to use really rough 3D, but it gets the point across. And then as I went, I started really hitting 3D on like, let's see, this is 2D. Redo it on stream. Let's see. Then like this one this one got a lot of attention. I like this one. People seem to like A-frame. So I'll do like a sketch like that and then I'll figure it out from here. Here's what Thank you. Abby. So I just started really pushing the lighting and everything, and the 3D helped a lot with that. And it helped kind of take away the focus on having perfect perspective, because it just kind of, I'd have perfect perspective. So here's kind of a process I'd do. I had a sketch for this, but then I'd model that sketch out, and then in my, I tweak the composition, tweak the colors and things like that. So I just had a better final product, basically. And that's why I started combining all those things, because I felt like sometimes I was getting a little too hung up on the perspective side of things, just getting that perfect perspective. And it's good to learn perspective and everything like that. And I drew this out so I have all right perspective, but I don't like spending a ton of time on that. And that sort of got me into the whole 3D aspect, and I started learning 3D. And I did all the 3D stuff and everything. That's all pretty much after SCAD. And I feel like going to school, it's great for meeting other artists and getting that nice competition back and forth. But you're gonna do your best work when you get out of school, for sure. It would be strange if you did your best work in school. So just remember, the school part's just all a learning process. And I'm always, learning new stuff as I go too. It's a never-ending process. And I think successful artists are the ones that just keep pushing and keep learning. And if you're having trouble on something you're working on in school and you're just not getting it, if you keep trying and you don't give up, then you'll be a successful artist. That's all you need. You don't have to be the best. You just have to have the most push, the most drive to finish stuff, to do stuff, and to learn. Because I've seen people that were super talented and they didn't do anything after school. They finished, they did great in school, and then they just didn't have drive. They would kind of do their assignments, and that was about it. They didn't have that drive to do more, to do better. So now I've got my kind of base colors here, and I actually haven't done like a complete 2D painting in a while. I have these all separated out so I can just do quick selections. Like I said, though, I would recommend, if you're early to Photoshop, to kind of stay away from that. Probably not the best idea. Now I'm just going to do a multiply layer, or maybe I'll do an overlay layer over the top of this. And I'm going to use this blue light, and it's way too dark, so I'm just going to slide that up into the blue a little bit more. That's starting to get a little bit closer, so I can test it out on some different areas and see what kind of results I'm getting. I'm getting kind of this nice deep purple. And I'm going to do a color pick just to make sure that these colors are still color there. We've got 21.9, and you've got 228. And in fact, a little side note on that, I always use the HSB slider, because it's really simplified. Hue, saturation, brightness. You can just adjust things super easy. And I'm going to go back because I accidentally lost my color. So there's my color. I'm going to go a little more saturated, a little brighter. So this is the color I'm actually painting over for shadows. And this is just a really quick test. Put it back to multiply. And if you have your color laid out like this and you want to just kind of figure out what's perfect, you can hit Control U. And now I'm just going to try figuring out, I could adjust, just go a little bit more into the blue purple area. Maybe I'll bring up the brightness so it's not quite as much of a contrast. Push the color more, and just kind of figure out a good shadow color. So you see I've got nice purples going on over here. This green looks kind of nice. And now I've lost that color again because I changed it, so I'm just gonna go back quick, color pick it, and put it back to multiply. And there's a trick you can do to color pick on a layer like that. So I could hit I and switch this over to current layer. And now I'm color picking not the color that you see, but the color of that layer. So that you just hit I, and it'll pick up your ink dropper tool. So I'm actually going to put that back to all layers, and that'll pick up this color that it's becoming. And then back to current. Maybe I'll just leave it on current since I'm going to be doing, whoops, sorry, current layer. Oh, now it's not doing it, of course. Oh, that's strange. For some reason it's not working. Oh, now it's working. Okay. So now I'm just gonna grab the selection of the trees that I did, holding control and just clicking on the layer. I'm gonna start just brushing across some of these. And this is why I have this up layer, so I can kind of easily throw stuff over here. And I'm just gonna grab, oops. There we go. Trying to grab which brush. Sometimes I use the Cintiq shortcuts, sometimes I don't. I deselected that, so now I'm just gonna paint this shadow on the grass. And I'm thinking the moon's gonna be the primary light source. So I'm just gonna use that as, I'm basically projecting out like that. Just be like, up, tree, shadow cast this way, shadow cast here, shadow casting over here. And I'm still gonna look and kind of tweak the colors. I could go a little warmer maybe, or cooler. I might go in kind of this purpley red area like that. Really is pretty nice. It's a little bit too dark. I'll probably brighten this scene up a little bit. So you can do all this stuff and then just tweak it as you go. Just figuring out with this shape. The benefit of doing all the layers and stuff is you can easily do adjustments, but starting out in Photoshop, it can be really confusing. Remember, I have like this ground area that's a little bit raised, so I'm just gonna throw down some lighting there. This is kind of like the super ugly phase of a painting. If you can get past this, you're good. Sometimes it's hard to get past this part though. So I'm just tweaking the amount of multiply that I have on there. And I'm gonna go in here. I'm gonna pump up the saturation a little bit on this. But I'm also gonna lower the brightness. I'm gonna grab a little bit of this blue and just try overlaying a little bit. Whoops. With just a gradient, I hit G. And I'm just gonna, oh, this is actually grabbing the wrong blue. So you gotta make sure I go back to all layers. Grab that blue. There we go. And I'm just setting it to really light. And I'm just kind of adding some of the blue to the environment. So I'm kind of mixing things together a little bit better. And now I'm gonna throw some clouds back here really quick. So I'm just make a new layer back here. This will be the cloud layer. And I'm just using my lines as a reference point, and I'll just kind of get rid of those for the clouds at least. I'll probably keep the other ones just because, you know, you want clouds to be nice and soft and fluffy. Yeah, I've got my keyboard right here. And if you get used to it right away, try getting used to using like the buttons on the actual tablet or the Cintiq or Wacom or whatever, or Wacom I guess it's actually pronounced. And then you don't have to get stuck using the keyboard, because I'm kind of, you know, I use the keyboard a long time. It's so hard for me to kind of switch over. I have some, I could try doing it. Let's see if I can. There we go. I'll try using the shortcuts on here. So I've got this set to like Alt, so it's my ink dropper. I can grab colors that way, and then I have the slider set to the brush. Let's see. I'm trying to find a head. Did I load the wrong one? I had some reference pictures here up on my other screen, and always use reference. That's definitely a good idea. I'm actually just gonna reference my own painting, the one I showed earlier, just for a cloud reference. And this is all looking a little bit desaturated, so I'm actually gonna hit Control B I'm gonna start bringing some more color back into here. And Control B brings up your, it's like your hue, saturation, brightness, or color. It's a color balance basically. And you can tweak stuff really easily in this panel. So it's kind of a before and after. I want to really push the lighting. And I think as far as the clouds go, I think I've got enough of a reference there, so I'm going to go and turn off that cloud layer. I've got enough of what I want in there already. I'm just going to kind of start sculpting the clouds a little bit. Does it matter if you work on PC or Mac? No, it doesn't matter at all. I recommend PC because it's a lot cheaper. Far cheaper. Mac doesn't really give you anything that PC doesn't. A lot of artists say that, you know, it's all about workflow and stuff. I've worked on both extensively, and whatever you can afford. If you really, really want a Mac, get a Mac, but I wouldn't recommend it. It's a lot of money for a silver or metal shell or whatever. Hey, Zoologico. Thanks for the tree compliment. And you notice, and for the most part, I'm working all over the canvas a lot. I'm trying not to stick in one part for too long. I want to keep just jumping all over the place and just sort of building this up. And this point of the painting is actually probably I'll put the moon behind the clouds. This point of the painting is probably one of the harder parts for me. It's like, you know, things kind of look a little messy and it's not cleaned up. And I think part of me, oh, I was doing that on the wrong layer. That's another reason layers can suck. You can like accidentally paint on the wrong layer. That's one reason I kind of like the whole 3D part, because you can kind of just jump in there and you can bypass a bit of that kind of awkwardness in a painting. You could call it like the the younger teenage years, adolescence of a painting. Everything's just a little bit awkward. Things aren't quite working out perfectly. It's not bad, but it's not really that great either. I have, a decent solid composition, so I'm not too worried about it, but it's just, yeah. Hey, thanks for the follow, CJ Sketcher. I appreciate it. Where does most of my inspiration come from? That's kind of all over the place. For my kind of younger inspiration, it was the Bill Pete books. He was a children's book author. Check out his books. It's just Bill Pete. It should be easy to find. His artwork was really inspirational to me as a kid, and I think some of that carried through probably. Playing games, huge inspiration. Ocarina of Time specifically. I think a lot of my work kind of is inspired by stuff like that. As far as artists, kind of all over the place. I really like Prom. I love just perusing ArtStation, seeing all the wonderful artists on there. Honestly, video games probably the biggest inspiration though. Journey, fantastic game. If you haven't played it, definitely check it out. It's really good. So I'm gonna close that layer, and you see if I turn this off, like it's kind of holding up without the lines, so it's not too bad. But I might just go and make this flat and just paint over everything. Yeah, this one doesn't have any kind of 3D on it. Hey, Tyriel, thanks for the follow. Yeah, this one is just the basic stuff here. Before I flatten everything, I'm going to go back to this grass layer. I'm going to flatten these two grass layers down. And I'm actually going to grab this color here, and I want to do kind of a brown or desaturated color. I want some dirt areas to happen here. I'm going to go darker. I'm going to go right into a brown, or right into a gray almost. And this gray is starting to look warm because it's surrounded by all these cool colors. So I'm just going to throw down a little bit of gray to kind of break up this grass. Maybe there's a path here. Oh, I forgot I even had a tree right there. I gotta paint that in too. Yeah, I'll throw some gray down here, kind of hint at a path. I'm kind of using Z shapes and stuff to sort of hint at the perspective as well. And just kind of squiggling all over the place. Maybe there's some dirt here. But look how warm that color looks. And that's completely gray right there. So just think about that too, you know, color relativity. When a gray is next to like a cool color, it's gonna look really warm. And when a gray is next to a warm color, it's gonna look really cool. So think about that, and you can really push some color stuff in your painting. Hey JJ132, thanks for the follow. Okay, so got the trees here. I'm gonna hit Control M. I'm actually gonna play with the curves on the trees a little bit. Control M just brings up your curves layer. I'm gonna make them a little bit darker. I'm gonna hit Control U, and I'm gonna toy with the color that they are, just to see if I want to change them around at all. So I've made them a little bit more red. Some of these trees in the back, I'll probably start pushing back a little bit more. And I'm gonna go ahead and grab this layer, and we're gonna paint this tree that I forgot about. It's kind of my foreground element. It should help with the sense of size and scale and perspective. You know, got some overlaying elements and things like that. And I'm just gonna draw that in. If you are going to work on multiple layers, just always remember to check which layer you're painting on. The reason I suggest not to do it early on is just because you'll get frustrated with accidentally painting on the wrong layer. You'll get frustrated with just kind of a lot of things can go wrong with multiple layers. And you'll probably learn more if you do the single layer. I'm going to go back up and select current layer to grab this shadow color that I had. See that kind of purple color it's picking up? And it's going to paint over that again really quick. And kind of sculpt this around a little bit. Look, well, for some reason it's not. There we go. It's kind of sculpt around here a little bit. Follow the form. And maybe just a little bit more here. Start adding some depth to some of these elements. And, you know, with lighting and stuff, you can fake a lot of things and just kind of go more for aesthetics than perfection. One way to kind of, if you don't want to flatten your object out and you want to just kind of paint over stuff, you could just paint, save it all. Hey, MWXK111, how's it going? Your name sounds like a radio DJ name or something. Or a radio station. This is MWXK1111 in the morning. Okay, so I'm gonna make a new layer on top of everything, and I think I'm just gonna try painting it flat. I usually don't do this. I usually keep all the layers and everything like that, but I think for this one it might make more sense this way. But before I do that, I'm actually gonna pull in some good textures and stuff. I wanna get some texture going on in here. And I'm not gonna do it's the texture I use is just sort of a. I'll show you when I pull it in. And I could actually do this too. I could grab, sometimes I'll take like a painted texture I've done, like this is a repeating one. Sometimes I'll take that and just like stretch it out and throw it on the canvas just as like a, you can use this, you know, almost like gives you a little bit of perspective. So I could do that and, you know, scroll through these layers to see if any of them look nice. Maybe I'll do an overlay and drop the opacity down a bunch. So that's giving me a little bit of texture in there. So maybe I'll leave that on there. My main texture that I use a lot is this kind of stone cement one. And I'm gonna put a whole new folder, and I'm gonna put that to soft light. And I'm just gonna throw this over a bunch of stuff, and I'm just holding Alt and just duplicating it over. Whoops. And I'm gonna flatten out, so it's all in soft light. And it's a little too intense, so I'm just gonna scale it up a little, holding Control or Shift. What did I do? Hit Control T to bring it up, and then if you hold Shift, it'll scale. If you hold Shift Alt, it'll scale from the center. If you hold Shift, it'll scale out that way. And I'm basically just throwing this on here just to get some base texture. If you zoom in, you know, just getting kind of like some more information in there. You don't have to do that, but it'll help give some variety. Good old times on Twitch, huh? Okay, now that I have that done. Oh, and someone's probably gonna ask what brush I use and everything. I've been using so far. This is the same brush for everything. I guess I used two brushes. I used kind of a rectangle. Let's see. I'll bring up brushes. So this rectangle one, really basic, just made a cube. And the other one is Chalk 4, default Photoshop brush, I believe. And now I'm just gonna, before I flatten it totally though, I want to do one more thing with the trees. I'm gonna grab a layer, stack it on top, holding Alt, clicking on top of there. And I'm gonna start painting over. I'm gonna go grab all layers. And I'm gonna just brush over some blue just to push these trees back. They're way too much color for how far away they are. And just a little bit distracting, honestly. Okay, so now that that's pushed back, I'm gonna go up top. Don't forget to save. I want to do one more thing with the moon too. Doing a layer on top of the moon, grabbing a color, going full brightness, and this is just, when I paint, it stays within the layer now. I want to give it kind of that little bit of a ring effect that it has. I'm going to flatten that, grab it one more time, duplicate it, just drag it to the new layer button, and I'm going to try hard light, and I'm going to blur it out a bit. Blur, Gaussian blur, just to give it kind of that radiant feel of the moon, kind of light shooting out. Okay. And now I'm just going to kind of get in here and start painting over some of this rock areas. Maybe I'll add some extra details and things like that. It's pretty dark, but let me make sure that I'm selecting all layers. Quite a scene for a werewolf to mess around. What are you trying to say? Is there a werewolf about? Well, there's some areas that I want to brighten up. You know, you can, if I add a little desaturation here, I'm just grabbing color picking and desaturating, giving some variety to the stones. And I want to actually hit this top layer with some lighting, so I'm gonna hit Shift L and cycle. Oh, my keyboard is not working for some reason. Hang on. No, it's working. Well, I want to go into the lasso tool and I want to select the polygonal tool, and that way I can just do a quick selection like this. Now that that's selected, I'm going to make a new layer back here, go to soft light, grab the moon color, and just drag it over that. And maybe I'll hit some other areas with that too later. Ah, not today. No werewolf today. That'd take me too much time. I'm starting to paint these cracks and stuff. This is my focal piece, so I'll probably work on this a little bit more than the other areas. And basically I'm just kind of painting out extra lines and things and cleaning up edges and just painting over areas that I don't like anymore, or areas that I want to get rid of. And I could go in here and start adding patterns and things like that. Add a little highlights along these edges. So I'm just going up here, color selecting, and I'm using Alt to slide and change my brush size. Sliding left and right for that. And I'm working zoomed in, but I do have my, off on the left side, on the right side here, my other screen, I have a little window that shows me, you know, what my painting looks like zoomed out. And that's essentially, you don't want to stay zoomed in all the time. You're gonna, if you do that, you're gonna focus in on one area too long. Your painting's gonna, the overall painting will suffer from it. You might not notice some compositional issues or something like that. And that's actually, you know, that's a good point. Like right now, I probably should take this and flip the whole object. I'm just gonna go up to image, canvas rotation. We're gonna flip horizontally. You remember when I started, this is actually the direction I started with. I didn't flip back that way for quite a long time. And it's little chips and stuff. Maybe I'll add some brightness to this side. Maybe like some bounce light or something. And then here, you know, the moon might be, maybe it's projecting over this, over the top of this gravestone right here, and just hitting some light on here. And maybe it's not actually hitting that, but you can take some artistic licensing and just say it is. I'll break that edge up a little bit so it's not quite so perfect looking. Hey, beautiful Union, welcome back. I remember you were on here before, right? That name seems very familiar to me. Just hitting this a little bit of light. Does anyone have any questions on how things are going so far here? It's basically the cleanup phase. Favorite classical artist? Oh, I'm so bad at remembering names. Let's see. I was always a big fan of what's his name? Dang it. I'm so bad at names. I guess I don't know if it'd be considered classical, but I really liked Frank Frazetta. His artwork was really cool. Going back further, let's see. I don't know, I can't think of names right now. I'm sorry. I'll have to come up with some names for classical artists that I like. And I'm gonna put some trees across this moon here too. And I'm just changing the shape up a little bit from what my sketch was. One thing you have to be careful with when you're doing this, you want to make sure that you don't kind of get like that horn look where there's an object behind a stone or something that looks a little bit like it. So maybe I'll do some other ones back there just to kind of separate them out. And then I forgot that I was doing this too, where I have this kind of thing growing here. Maybe I will push that away a little further. It's a little bit crowding that area a little bit. Go over here. And then this will have to be pushed back a bit more. Come up with stories, just kind of as I'm painting them, I start thinking about like I have a general idea when I start, but it's not always very solidified. So as I'm painting, I kind of have a story just sort of percolating, and I'm always thinking about it, like trying to come up with ways of adding story to the picture itself. So while I'm doing that, it kind of tells the story in my mind, and I kind of try wording that out. Sometimes I won't have a finished story when I'm done, but I'll just sort of sit there and look at the painting and try to put myself back in the place of mind I was while I was painting it and see if I can come up with kind of where I was going with it. Like with some of the past ones, I have kind of those cube looking ones. Those I was thinking of why these formations were here, why they grew in this way, who found them, were they discovered, or did they just always exist to people? What's kind of the culture around things? So I try to think about stuff like that. I don't know if I really even like that. I think that's a little bit too... We'll figure that out later. Just paint it over it. Let's grab a little darker color here. That's one negative of painting, if you're doing one layer painting, you kind of have to paint around things, but you will end up with a more painterly looking piece when you're done. Kind of the initial idea, thought process for my stories and stuff is when I first think of what I want to draw. So that usually gets a little bit of the ideas going. Let's bring this color. I'm going to slide it over a little bit more towards the blues. Maybe even more towards the blue area. That's a little too... I'll hit it with a little bit of color pick from over here, pump up the saturation, and just hit it with a little bit of that. And I'm going to color pick from that color and sort of splotch it around a bit. And do a lot of color picking and then just increasing saturation and things so I get a better color overall. Yeah, since the stories I keep them all really short, I'm sure there's tons of blanks in there. I guess I don't purposely leave blanks. I usually like to keep kind of the ending, the result of the story, a little bit vague. I sort of like stories that I do like that when the viewer has to finish the rest of the story. I haven't actually done a painting without like a 3D base in months, probably. Like a full painting like this. That's interesting. And as you're painting, you're just thinking, just keep thinking of your basic concepts, how light works. I'm just painting kind of the dark side here, and then I'm thinking, maybe there'll be a little bit of reflected light here, and some light catches and bounces into here. Kind of just sculpting forms out. And just drawing, bringing some details back in with the line drawing. And let's see. I had some tree reference here. I'm gonna try pulling that up. Gotta find it. Oh, and for reference, I suggest everyone use, it's called PureRef, P-U-R-E-R-E-F. And PureRef is a really great program for just bringing in a bunch of images, and you can save your reference sheets, and you can, it's super good for all kinds of stuff. And it's free, you can donate, so if you have some extra money, I definitely recommend donating to them. Because it's pretty awesome that he's letting people, or giving people this tool. It's the best reference tool I've ever used. You can just drag and drop images in there, copy and paste images into it. I'm trying to find a particular reference that yeah, let me post that link for everyone else too, for the YouTube chats. I had a really cool tree reference, but I can't find it. My reference is a little disorganized, and it's really easy to organize stuff in here. You can zoom in to like infinity, kind of zoom out and stuff. I just don't remember where I placed it, because you can scale things large and small. Hey Striker, how's it going? Oh, I can't find it. Now I forgot what I was even working on. Hey Nate, welcome to the stream. I'm doing a non 3D painting. Yeah, it's a little bit too intense for right now. I'm just gonna paint that back a bit. And I'm always using the number keys to change my opacity. and, you know, 1 through 0. And just sliding through here. This dirt color is a little strange looking to me, so I'm gonna, maybe I'll do it completely desaturated. Yeah, it's a little bit weird. I'll take a little bit of browns in there maybe. Still just playing with color. Oh, PureF, great. Really, really good program. I definitely recommend using it. I've never found anything better than it. And it's going on this tree too, and kind of painting structural details, sort of painting, kind of still drawing with the curve of the surface. Yeah, I used a different one for a little bit, and as soon as I found PureF, I stopped using that other one immediately. It's free. PureF's free, but you can donate later if you want. Thanks, Zoologic. I'm doing another graveyard scene. Welcome back, Mumbles. I don't know if I'll finish this one all the way, but I'm using Photoshop. Yeah, give him $1. That's great. I actually had to donate a little bit to him. Yeah, I'm using Photoshop right now. If you don't have Photoshop, if you can't afford it or something like that, there's lots of free options or cheaper options. There's Krita. It's I think it's Krita. That one's really good. I haven't used it a ton. Paint Storm, I've used that one. That's like 20 bucks. You could use, what's the other one? It's like, it has 2 names. It's like Manga Studios, and it's also something else. There's a, oh, the other, yeah, I use Kudrow for, that's the reference program. I didn't like that as much. But yeah, there's, what's the other one? It's called Clip Art Studio or Manga Studio. That one's another good one. Paint Tool Sai is a good one too. And that one's also pretty cheap. It's just, Sai is S-A-I. So just Paint Tool Sai. Pain Tool. No. But yeah. Paint Tool is really great. I could actually, let's see. Let's see if I have, Paint Storm, I think is the one I said. Let's open up Paint Storm. Paint Storm is pretty cool, and all these programs are kind of similar. So, oops, I accidentally opened 2 of them. I'm just gonna paste that in here. Oops. I'm gonna do a new document. I'm gonna make it the same size as the previous document. So, let me just do this really quick. Hey. 6400, I think it was 1600. So I'm gonna post that in there. So this is this other program, and I don't remember those tools. I haven't used this one very much, so we're just gonna, let's grab a paintbrush. Let's go to one of these brushes. We'll do the mixer brush. And this one's, I actually really like this one. I haven't used it much. I'm gonna grab something to drink really quick, and I will be right back. Okay, everybody? Give me like 5 minutes. Okay, I'm back. So you're talking about 3D programs? I'd recommend 3D Coat's a really good one because you can 3D Coat is nice because it's like ZBrush, but it can do so much more than just what ZBrush does. And it's one of the cheaper options if you consider it does ZBrush stuff. You can do great typology stuff in here. Oh, another great thing about this paint program, it's called PaintStorm. You have a little mixer tablet here, and you can just mix your colors up together. Like say we want to do, I don't know, like get some moon color in there, mix that up. Kind of blend these colors together. I just switched over. I'm in a PaintStorm now. It's like a $20 paint program. I haven't really used it that much, but it's pretty cool. I'm just kind of exploring some of the brushes here. It has a lot of nice mixer brushes and stuff, like Photoshop has. I don't know the shortcuts to zoom in and zoom out, though. Trying to figure that out, but oh well. Yeah, I haven't used this program enough to be too familiar with it, but it does have some nice tools. Like I can go in here and just kind of paint some grass like this. Maybe I'll go over and we'll do like a round brush. But yeah, I'm a lot more used to doing Photoshop, so I'm just gonna jump back over into Photoshop for now. And I'm just copying, pasting the two programs. I'm just pumping up the colors a little bit more. Yeah, Photoshop has the real media brushes. I don't use them all that much though. They're a little bit finicky, I suppose. Grab some of these colors over here, pumping up the color. Oh, not the built-in ones. I haven't really used... I mean, I've used a lot of different options. I guess I don't know. You hit so much you might explode. Yeah, I use ZBrush. ZBrush, 3D Coat. Yeah, its interface is ZBrush is strange just because it was kind of built up as sort of a 2D program. I feel like it kind of became what it is by accident. I was thinking about doing some tutorials on it. It's not too bad. I use it in combination with painting sometimes. Yeah, I really like ZBrush. I kind of want to get better at 3D code though, because it's kind of, I feel like more of all-in-one program. .3D code's probably your better price range option. I think you can get a non-professional license for like 100. Though, nice thing about ZBrush, if you buy it once, you own it forever. Just kind of mixing up colors here, kind of painting away. Did any of the students from the CMPA students and stuff, did any of them want to see any other stuff? Some 3D stuff, 2D stuff, whatever? Because isn't that class kind of a broad class of everything? I'm going to do a color balance layer on here and just kind of play around with the colors a bit. So I can make it feel even more like a nighttime later if I want. So like how much more nighttimey that feels by just getting rid of all those reds and starting to blend it together a bit more. Hi Nyla, how's it going? Hey Eric, how are you doing? Welcome back. Yeah, Eric, remember that 2-hour thing I was talking about? Gonna make it real. No. I'll just start doing that streaming thing you do with the push-up thing. That's a great idea. Oh yeah, I can't wait to see some of those prompts come to fruition. We started a thing the other last night, I think it was, where we started doing prompts. Basically, I just give out prompts, and then people are going to draw them, and we'll come back and see what they come up with. I think it's a really exciting way to kind of have some interaction. Ah, 10 minutes left. Ah! Are we counting that time where I walked away and had food? Okay, are we serious about this challenge? Should I speed up super fast? Tips for practicing color and light? Yeah. Get a little still life set up. Try to have so you can have oh yeah, James Gurney's color and light book as well. But also set up maybe like a small scene still life and try to get some bouncing light. Maybe have some colored paper that has light hitting it and then it bounces and then hits the object. That'd be super helpful for you. You do hear rain. I have like a rain thing running. No, it's raining outside, of course. I don't have too much time more to stream today. Maybe like 10 minutes or so, so I'll have to try finishing up as much as I can. We'll see how far I can get in 10 minutes. That's right. Let's do the banana brush. I think it's time. And now I'm just using a really soft brush, and I'm just going to create some atmosphere by doing a few different layers, a few different areas, and just kind of come back in and do some low-hanging fog here. I'm doing these different layers so I can give it like varying ranges of depth. Maybe some low-hanging fog over here. I'm painting with a really high saturation. I'm just lowering it down, and we're going to come back and erase some areas that I want to pull forwards. Let's pull in this area forward here. Pull in this area forward here. And then I want this foreground element to be pulled forward here as well. And see how much depth we're already getting in our scene? I'm going to make one more layer, and I'm just going to... That banana's doing work. And I'm just going to hit this a little bit here, a little bit there. Lower the opacity on that. And now I'm going to do just like a splatter, kind of like some atmospheric stuff. I'm going to grab this color so it's nice and bright. I'm actually just using the mouse to do this because it does full... Oh, actually, that's not doing full opacity at all. Well, we'll do that one for a low one. I'm going to up the opacity and do some closer bits, kind of. And most of this is still kind of this blue color, so I might just go in here. Maybe we'll have something really cool happening in the center. We're going to go... I had that neon green kind of color the other day, and that was pretty cool. So maybe we'll do something again with that. Aw, Kimchi's returning. Hey, Kimchi. Maybe it's like cracking through the ground, just reaching out, exploding, cutting through the grass and everything like that. Oh yeah, it needs that magic. You know it's gonna happen. And just like these surges through the ground. I like to do sound effects. I think that adds to the painting for sure. Could even have them like running, coursing through the trees if we wanted to go real crazy, but we don't have to do that. Gonna have like this central area, and that's kind of where most of this stuff's gonna hit. Meow, meow. And I'm gonna, I might test out some other colors here. We could do reds, we could do blues, just see what fits the painting best. I kind of like sort of close to that neon green, and then maybe I'll have this beam of light just like shooting out of it, kind of similar to what I did the other night. So when I do paintings, a lot of times I'll tend to kind of, almost do like mini series and things like that. So I sort of keep going along with stuff like that, and I think it's a good way to have like a consistent kind of like build up a portfolio in a world or something like that. And here's where I'm doing a lot of different layers, just toying with different things, testing things out and stuff. So I'm not exactly sure how I want this stuff to look, but I have a decent idea. And I want this to look like it's going to be kind of bursting open. Something's like going to be coming out of the ground. We don't know what it is yet. Maybe we won't even show, like when you're doing a painting or an illustration, you always want to show, you don't want to show the exact, like, you want to show before the action happens or something like that. Kind of have this build up of tension and stuff. And I'm just adding kind of this center point, like this hot light right in the center there. We don't have any light really affecting the area yet, so we'll probably add some of that in as we go. And then also, some of this grass over here, we don't really, like, take some grass and put it over that. I could take some ground, the Palpatine hologram. I kept that in my process picture the other day. Like, it's, so when you see the GIF, or the, yeah, GIF. Oh my god, now I don't know what I'm saying. The GIF, yeah. There, when you see the GIF, you'll see it in there. So now I've got that in there, but you know, this green, it's not really affecting the rest of the environment. So we wanna start pulling some of that in, and I'll do that in a second. Let me actually hang on 1 second. My roommate's moving some stuff out. It's a little bit loud in the background. And there's a few spots here I'm gonna go back and, you know, fix up some details here, because you see there's some messy lines going on here. Maybe I'll add some more branch details. Fill out some of these trees a little bit. And this, you know, this painting I'm not really worrying too much about retaining layers or anything like that. I'm just kind of going along with it, just painting as I go. I feel like this area is a little empty here, so maybe I'll add a branch that comes over top of this a little bit. Maybe it's broken off. Maybe it's just like a little bit branch like that. And always, you know, just always don't feel like you can't change your painting. It's your painting. You can go ahead and change stuff as you go. You know, some people kind of get stuck, like they do their drawing and they focus on keeping that drawing the way it is the whole time. You don't have to do that. You can, you know, do whatever you want. Just have fun with it. Okay, so I kind of lost focus there. I was gonna come back in here and get some of that lighting on this object. So I'm gonna do that now. And when I say I lost focus on a painting, that kind of means I just jumped around. This is your world, you're the creator. Yeah, exactly. I kind of jump around the painting so that I'm always working on different areas and keeping it interesting for myself and making sure the whole painting's getting done as a whole and not just partially finished or something like that. I'm going to do a layer, and I'm going to set this one to soft light. I was thinking, yeah, an owl or something would be really cool. I could do an owl, or some bats flying around or something. I was thinking that too. That's a good idea. Actually, you know what? I'm going to set this to hard light instead of soft light. I think hard light will be, yeah, it's going to give us a little bit more intensity. And I'm going to do a quick selection of the area that I want it to impact. So I want it to be on here. And you notice when I wanted to speed up my working speed, I just zoomed out. So my biggest issue there is I was just zoomed in. That's why I was working so slow. So I'm just kind of guessing some areas where I think this light would hit, like be the most impactful. I hit Control H to hide that selection. And now I'm just, you know, doing a gradient, a radial gradient, just dragging it out across there. And now I'll go in and I'll do some like softer highlight, kind of some edge stuff. Just kind of get these beveled edges. Imagine if it was a 3D object. It just has like a little bevel, so it's catching the light a little sharper on that edge. And I can erase some stuff. You know, some of these blades of grass and stuff are going to be affected here too. I'll probably have some light kind of shooting out of this, like stuff like that. Just, and then I have a little bit of a glow here, and it's really starting to come together here. And you gotta remember. I always want to be as fast as possible. I think keeping a fast speed keeps you kind of keeps you on your toes. But when you're painting, you always have to remember, you know, you're painting, you kind of, maybe if you have a process, you have to remember your earlier process, you're setting down the foundation. You know, when you build a house, you don't have the full shape of a house right away. You have the different layers and everything, and you build up to the house. And when you're painting, you have to remember that. And I say that a lot because I just know it's so easy to get discouraged while painting. It's so easy to get discouraged with a piece and think it's not good enough. You're now 2 hours and 1 minute. No! Curses! It's taking too long. No. Is Eric still here? I told him the other day, I was like, I said I was taking too long. I have to do it in 2 hours. And that's pretty close. I'm just touching up some of these areas back here. Maybe I'll hit like a few little stars back there. Little hints of stuff. And since I'm thinking of this as all in one piece, I can easily just go and paint over stuff. I don't have to worry about going layers. And I think that's why when you're learning Photoshop, you want to stick with less layers when you're starting. You don't want to get too caught up with all the layers. I was gone for a few minutes there. I don't even know what an uptime command is. I assume it displays how long I've been up. Not awake, but I mean streaming. You guys have to teach me the ways of Twitch. I'm a noob. Franker face? I had an add-on too where it was like give points and stuff for people that are in the stream, but I don't know if it's working because I thought that'd be kind of fun, and then maybe you could buy things with the coins. I don't know. Has anyone gotten any points for that? I guess it's not set up anymore then. Maybe I have to go back and I'll try to set that up for next time because I wanted to give away like a Steam game or something for people just hanging out, or could bid on or something like that, just for a little extra layer of fun. I forgot what it's called though. It should display the points. You know, let me take a look at that really quick because I thought I did it. Is it this one? It's enabled. It should be working. Oh wait. Maybe it's working now? Oh, there we go. I engaged it. And I think you'll get ginger snaps are the... I think that's what I made the currency. I don't remember. Sorry, this is very separate from the SCAD thing, but I just wanted to check it. Rewards. Profile. I forget if it's points. Filter. Yeah, ginger snaps. So ginger snaps are the points. 0. God, Striker. No, it's it just engaged it, so I'm sorry. I thought it was tracking, but I guess it wasn't. It's time based. Although, quick tip: I think if you unfollow and then follow me, you should get points for that. So if you want a couple of free points, I think that might work. And I think following me on Twitter or something like that will give points. I'm not sure. We've got a winner. Yeah, I thought I had it engaged the other day, but I guess it just wasn't working and I forgot to check on it. But yeah, I wanna... Oh, if you want... Oh, really? Oh, I'm sorry. I wonder if I can dole out points for my, the people that have come back. The returning. Too late. What, if I disable it and you unfollow me and then I enable it, will that work? So I can do that if you guys want. Gotta get you those reward points for being the early birds. So I'm thinking just, some more texture stuff. I'm trying to come up with maybe... Oh, you can't really? Oh, that's a bummer. Maybe some details on here in the surface. I didn't really do any kind of patterning or anything, so I'm just sort of kind of sculpt something in. Turn down the saturation. I feel like by you guys not getting those points, it's like punishment for having been there from the beginning. I'll see if I can figure something out to like give bonus points or something. Yeah, it's kind of going across here. Oh, okay. Yeah, I can see that. If we go back here, this is a little bit... You can see my line work a little bit too much. I gotta make some more vague lines. Oh, okay. I'm gonna push this tree back a little bit more. Thursday's like my guaranteed day to stream. My next day streaming, the other days I'm kind of random about it. If I can finish my freelance today and tomorrow, maybe I'll try to stream today again. So I'll try to get on there. Like Thursday is my guarantee. I'll always be here on Thursday unless something super something came up. But I'll try to get a stream other than just Thursday, something between now and then. I gotta there's some tutorial requests that people put in, so I gotta put some of those together, so that might take some time too. And I'm just gonna grab some, kind of fill out the forest back here a little bit. Yeah, I have, I'm almost tied up with all the freelance, so that's kind of, I have one piece that I have to have done by Monday. And then beyond that, I've got some side projects and the tutorials and stuff that I post on YouTube. So I've got to get those done, keep that up. And I'm also doing a Let's Play of Ocarina of Time. I've got to record some videos for that. I've got a few backlogged. I've got to edit those things too. And then I have another unannounced side project that kind of ties into everything that I've got to work on as well. I'm just going to do a little some sharp edges here for the clouds. Oh! And I'm going to hit right along the top here. I want this almost like it's a bit of shape welding. I want to see if that looks cool. Yeah, I kind of like that. Maybe just a little bit right here. Some nice rim lighting along these edges. Let's bring the saturation up. Yeah, I love Zelda. Zelda's such a good game. Yeah, I've got I did a first test one, so that one was already up on YouTube. And then I did another one. Hey Daniel, thank you. And I even twirled the mustache a little bit today. I don't know, it's not behaving so well today. I'll tell you what though, eating a burrito with a beard like this can be extremely difficult. It's a hard life to lead, but it's worth it. And I'm gonna... I forgot what I was talking about. I got distracted. Oh, but yeah. Eating is difficult with a beard. See you, Andrew. Hopefully you had a decent turnout. It was hard to tell. It seemed like there was about 5 or 6 people that showed up. Would have been nice if they asked some more questions, though. And just tossing a few gravestones kind of on this, just in the background here to give a little bit of, just hint at the rest of the background area, because I didn't really, didn't do too much. But that's the thing, you don't have to do a ton to get the right information across. You can kind of just hint at stuff, have a few focal points. Yeah, totally. Ask away. I love questions. I try to paint while I answer them. I went to school with your professor. What were some of the questions you had? And you can just ask them one at a time. You don't have to have them like all bulked up or anything. That'd be a little easier for me to read and paint and whatnot. Just to make this tree a little darker. I'm trying to color pick that line. There we go. And if your drawing skill went back to 0 and you had to learn it all over again, would you learn it again even though everything you will draw for the next 2.5 years will be terrible and shaming? Well, I mean, first part of the question, yes, I would do it all over again. Second part of the question, I don't think it'd be shaming to start all over from the beginning. I think that's, I wouldn't have the skill I have, but would I have the knowledge? Like, would I know that I was able to achieve that skill? And I think having to go back like that, I could, if I had the knowledge, not how to draw, but like I knew that I knew how to draw, I would learn how to draw better because I'd start from the basics and really stick to those basics and just push them hard. Which brings me up to another website, drawbox.com. And everyone should check this out, and you should definitely do everything on here. Even if you think you're much better at drawing than what these lessons and stuff are. Like, this right here, this is just drawing cubes. Where is it? It's just basic stuff. Homework, maybe just lessons. Even just this really simple basic stuff here. I did this literally 2 days ago, where I just, up here in lessons, like drawing cubes, just flying through space like this. I did that literally 2 days ago. I did these leaves challenges 2 days ago. Even though, I've been drawing for years, I'm still doing the basics. So I don't think it would be a shaming experience to do that. And I definitely would pick up drawing again. And that site is fantastic. I think he has a Patreon. I would definitely support him. And don't be afraid, like, don't feel bad that you are doing the basics again. Even if you've got a lot done, go back to the basics. Do daily challenges. Do daily sketching. The worst thing in my case is, like, sometimes I don't have time to do that. I've got a lot of freelance clients and stuff like that I have to do. And I work full time at my job, so I've got to stick with that. So I don't have a ton of time to do basics all the time. Like, if I have a time, like a lull in work, I sometimes can do that. Your second question was, what was it? What do you enjoy so much about learning to draw better and drawing in general? Yeah, you're welcome for the the link. As far as what I enjoy about drawing so much, I don't think it's necessarily just drawing that I enjoy so much. It's more of the creation process. And I really like learning because I like learning different ways doing things, and I like passing that knowledge on to other people I know. That was one of the reasons, I've said this a few times, one of the reasons I started doing these streams was maybe I can help out some other people. And there were so many people in the past that have helped me out. Maybe they didn't know it, but just, watching YouTube videos and stuff. I've watched tons of videos and learned tons of different programs through the internet mostly. And, some of that stuff was SCAD as well. And I just want to give back to people. I want to help people out and pass on what I learned. Maybe I can make their learning process a little bit easier, and maybe I can guide them in the right direction as far as what steps to take while learning. Because I know personally I tried jumping, skipping ahead. I was always on that search for that elusive perfect brush, and it doesn't exist. It's just putting the time in. Even with 3D, some people look at that as kind of like, skipping out a step, but that was another learning process, and I really liked learning that. And taking that skill and just using it in my creation process to create these worlds and I've always had the urge to create, and I think that is part of the learning thing. And I've always liked teaching other people. Yeah, totally do those draw box challenges. I can't stress that enough. Those are great. Yeah, I do them all the time. That guy, he breaks it down so nicely. It's really fantastic. You're welcome. Any other questions, anyone? I'd love to get a hold of that guy and do some collaboration work with him or something, or just chit chat and thank him in person. Trying to get this tree to read a little bit better. It's not quite right, and this one's a little bit too focused. Yeah, I did that too. And what you end up with is just like a mess of brushes, and you can't find what brush to use, and you're always like switching through brushes, and it doesn't help at all. But always just the basics. Push the basics. Hey, Luminato. How's it going? Yeah, I recommend sticking with a smaller palette of brushes and still, like right now I have a bunch of brushes up here. You can't see them, they're behind my video. But I only really use 3, probably, for the most part. So yeah, hopefully that answered your question. I'm passionate about creating and passionate about teaching and helping people. I'm not sure what it is. Sort of an innate driving force for that, I suppose. Yeah, you're welcome. Would you advise starting with traditional drawing and then moving to digital, or starting with digital and then learn the basics using a tablet? I kind of view, I think there's a strange dissonance between digital and traditional drawing, and I don't think that's the way it should be. Oh, my camera's a little bit tilted here. I believe that they both should be considered more of an equal. To me, digital is just another medium. Like, to me, it's, you line them up, you've got drawing, acrylics, digitally painting, oils. It's just another medium, and I hate when people kind of, I don't hate it, but when people look down on digital, it's just a more modern medium of painting. And I think whatever you want to end up doing the most of, use that tool. So if you want to do a lot of digital, just start using digital. But use them both in conjunction. Like, I still draw on my sketchbook and everything, and I bring my sketchbook with me almost all over the place. Sometimes I'm bad about it. I go through phases where I forget to take it with me and stuff, but having your sketchbook with you and just sketching is great. If you prefer drawing digitally and you want to sketch, just bring an iPad or something. Just use whatever you can. But I really don't think there's that much of a difference. they're so similar. They're just another medium. So for my earlier school years and stuff, it was professors always had this thing against digital art for some reason. It was always annoying. Yeah, that's the thing too. Like, if you don't have material costs but you have digital, just do digital. And just buy, a sketchbook and go take that out and draw. Just get like a really, oh, and don't buy a really nice sketchbook. If you buy like a moleskin or whatever, you're probably gonna have a harder time drawing in it because you'll be like, each page is is precious. Just get like a shitty sketchbook and draw on that. Do you have any tips or sites to help transition to digital art? I mean, the drawbox.com one that just focuses on regular drawing. I can't think of any off the top of my head. I'm sure there's some YouTube tutorials. I have YouTube tutorials that I'm trying to create that maybe I'll make some that will help that process a bit more. The digital, that's all kind of transitioning. Is, I think all you have to do is really just sit down and kind of focus on it and learn it. There's not really a quick sheet for that. And I think they're both pretty similar, so. Basically, you just put the time in, I guess would be the simplest answer to that. I don't know if that answers your question, but. I'll push this tree back a tiny bit. I have some basic videos on my YouTube right now that might help. If there's anything you feel that maybe you would want to see more of, you can just let me know and I'll put it on my, I have a little sticky note of different tutorials. A lot of people are requesting kind of the Maya tutorials. Not too many have requested sort of the more basic art stuff. But if someone has an idea or something, just let me know and I'll see if I can, hopefully I can work it in and get it done and help you guys out. Yeah, all that's myself. The only thing that might not be my own model, like sometimes, like I have modeled a skull before, but I think the skull I use in there was actually a default ZBrush skull. So that's the only model that I didn't model myself. Oh, and there is one, the Star Destroyer for the Star Wars one. I didn't model the Star Destroyer. But everything else is mine other than those two objects. But I figured the Star Destroyer was, it's fan art, so I didn't really want to spend all that time modeling that super complicated object when it was just available right there. It didn't have any credit source, I wasn't able to credit it. Not that I saw. I might have just gotten it a long time ago, so I probably should dig up the credit source and find that out. Well, this is probably closer to a 3-hour painting, but what are you not able to do art like? What do you mean by what are you not able to do art like? What do you mean? Like, is there a bit of art that challenges me that I don't like doing? And I'm 32, by the way. I just had a birthday the other day. He himself told me that he is old. Yes, that is my age, old. I actually got started late for it's like schooling and all that stuff. I didn't start like the standard age. Hey Kimchi, what's up? Yeah? What's going on, Kimchi? I guess Kimchi has a lot to say on this subject. Thank you. Tim Tams. Have you guys had a Tim Tam? Oh my god. That's what I want to be. I want to be a Tim Tam salesman. They are delicious. Thanks for the birthday wishes. Yeah, I just turned 32. Basically dead. No. Yeah, I just had a birthday this kind of middle of this month. So it's it's been yeah, like about a week ago. Got one foot in the grave. No, just kidding. Elijah's over now. Because he can do a lot. More like, what can't this man? Oh, what can I do? I'm bad at drawing people. I don't do that very often. The only reason I think I'm bad at that though is just because I don't do it that often. Thank you for the birthday wishes. So my confidence level in drawing people is a little bit lower. I definitely need to work on that. Got to take some of my own advice and just draw it more. But yeah, Tim Tams are integral, or yeah, intrigued. They're integral to your survival too. They're really good. They're kind of like, if you've had a Twix or anything like that, they're kind of like that, but they're from Australia, and they are delicious. Oh, if you get them, get the caramel ones. Caramel ones are the best ones. Those are the Tim Tams you need. But yeah, drawing people. My anatomy is rusty just because I kind of took the route of, you can... I see this a lot in concept art. People either focus on characters or environments. And in my case, I focus on environments. I just have more fun doing them. Though in the back of my mind, I always want to do more characters. And I got to practice. And I've been doing that on the side. And it's actually, what was his name? I follow him on YouTube. I'll have to get some links together for everybody. It's Ahmed, and he has some really great drawing tutorials on people. I've been using YouTube once again to learn more. So I've been watching some streamers and stuff like Eric Paints and stuff. He's been really helpful and whatnot. Yeah, it's just it's a constant learning process. I think that's one nice thing about art is you don't really ever get bored. Hey, Hex. How long have I been painting? Is it like 2.5 hours? I'm not really sure. I did dilly daddle and didn't really get a lot done early on, but yeah, I think exact 2 hours and 24 minutes, and I had like a 10-minute break. So yeah, because I started at 2. I get a little more of this moon glow. I started, like I just said, like 2.5 hours ago. And no problem on the questions. I enjoy questions. Does the uptime command work, Mumbles? 26! So I might call everyone Ginger Snaps, and if you're not okay with that, sorry. I'm gonna call everyone that in my stream a Ginger Snap, and it's the currency. Maybe that's confusing. We come up with a different name for everyone in here. I just thought that was funny though. Oh, snaps, Ginger Snaps. So I'm just doing kind of a soft blur light everywhere. I'm just kind of focusing on that. How do you add that up? Oh, everyone was telling me about that already. I forgot. The uptime command. After sometime later, you'll have to show me how to do that. And the Ginger Snaps, I've got some Steam game codes and stuff like that. So I'll probably have like a raffle drawing thing, like you can use your Ginger Snaps. Oh, and the you can buy stuff. The one I don't know how long everyone's been around, but someone asked me what my favorite shape was, and it's pretty much just what I use for my logo. So the first icon, I think it's gonna be an icon everyone can like use in Twitch. The first one's gonna be like my logo or my favorite shape basically, and you'll be able to buy that with Ginger Snaps. Right now I use custom shape for my logo. Just gonna throw that in there. Well, it's not, this is more my signature, I guess, not my logo. Yeah, we'll just have it be that color. Okay. I want to add a few more little dots. Oh, I completely forgot. I was going to add some... There's not very much movement happening here. I actually wanted to add a little bit of movement, so I'm going to go in here. And I want some kind of debris or something sort of flying off here. Hopefully this works. I don't know. I did this with yesterday's too, so I'm kind of just... Today's was a little more casual stream, I guess. Kind of just come up with ideas. And I want this to kind of have like this, like kind of more of an explosive look. And I'm gonna make these really quick, and then once I have the general bits in place, I'm gonna do a little blurring on them, give a little bit of motion to them. And then I can add like a little bit of lighting hitting them on the edge here. Just kind of. Yeah, Kimchi? Oh, what's wrong, Kimchi? Are you bored? Did Timmy fall down the well? Did I fall down a well, Kimchi? I'm trying to do kind of a little small, medium, large sort of thing. I'm gonna have a piece way over here. Kind of lead the eye over. Okay. My name is Tim. Well, use that envy to make yourself better. And thanks for stopping by, and come back again. I stream every Thursday for sure, and stream randomly kind of throughout the week. Maybe as I get more into streaming, I might do it more often. It kind of depends on how much freelance and stuff I have. I'm going to grab the blur tool really quick and just blur a few of these, just kind of smudge them a little bit so they have a little bit of motion to them. I'm just going to turn the strength up slightly. Yeah, just use that envy to get better. You'll do it. Yeah, see you, Daniel. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for the questions. You had some good questions. And I want to add a few more dots. I'm just using like a little hexagonal shape for these. Oh, well, keep working at it. I'm sure you'll get it. You'll have to just keep practicing, work on your basic drawings and stuff, and it'll come to you. It definitely takes a lot of work to get where you want to be as an artist. And I'm still not there. I'm alright, but I keep wanting to be better. I like having that drive and that want to always just be better. And I'm adding some of these little dots just to add a little kind of floaty atmospheric depth. I'll have some kind of close up here. I'm using these as a little bit of a sense of this is actually helping my the depth of my painting. And now I have those. I'm going to duplicate a layer, and I'm going to go and I'm going to do a blur, Gaussian blur, just a tiny bit, just to smooth them out a little bit. Whoa! And I'm going to take the smudge tool and just kind of smudge them around a bit so they don't quite have that perfect shape. And I could, maybe I'll go here and I'll do linear dodge on just a few of them. See how it's a little too bright on all of them? I'm actually going to get rid of a lot of them and just erase out a few here. So I just have a few kind of, that's also helping the depth. See how it's starting to kind of pop forward a bit more. Gin stabs. I'm glad everyone likes the ginger snaps. What's the best shapes command? The best shapes, is it shades or shapes? That's going to be the, you will be able to get, why does it cost so many points? Because it's the best shape. I can mess around with the points. I did that, set it up in one night, so I don't know how accurate all the points are, so we'll work on those. The best shape will be, I think it would be like an icon, like one of those little faces. I haven't actually tested out, so I'm unsure on that, so. Oh, what happened? Oh, I grabbed the wrong tool. And now we're just gonna do a little bit of a, whatchamacallit, vignette, as I like to call it, or a vignette. Yeah, we could have it so you can incorporate it into the drawing. I almost always put it in there, so that would be pretty fun. Maybe some way of just like hide it really tiny and just every time someone uses it. That might get out of hand, I don't know. We'll play around with that as we go. I think this is pretty much done. I'm going to do one more overlay layer, or maybe a linear dodge layer or color dodge, and just, whoa! And just push that intensity of the light up a little bit more. I'm going to try this as an overlay layer and see what happens. Yeah, that could get out of hand real quickly. It'll definitely be a learning experience for everyone. Mainly me. So I'm such a Twitch noob. I am gonna try one more thing. I don't know if I want to do it or not. I was thinking of having either like something there, maybe. I like that's in the ground. I'm gonna keep it in the ground, but I will try this. Like maybe these trees have it coming through the cracks and like it's in the ground. Yeah, that's what I figured. We've been having so much fun on the streams, though. I really appreciate everyone being here. It's been really rewarding. Hopefully I can keep doing it. Yeah, I kind of like that. Everyone's been so nice on the stream too. It's been great. Oh, thanks, Striker. I appreciate that. It's so cool seeing people come back. Yeah, if you have any questions, oh, that's so nice. But yeah, if anyone has any questions, just let me know and I'll try answering them the best I can. Oh yeah, I kind of like this little bit of. This is one of those things where I didn't plan for this this tree to have any kind of this stuff in it, but I kind of like it. It just adds a little bit of, like, kind of adds to the story of maybe. Like, this is one of those elements where I think someone asked earlier about kind of how I come up with stories and stuff. This is kind of giving me this idea of, it's something taking over the world. It's growing up through nature. It's corrupting it and changing it and stuff like that. Like, it's not that original of a story or anything, but it's enough that it gives you a little bit more meaning to your paintings and everything. Thanks, Seth. I really appreciate that. I'm such a sappy person. I get my beard all emotional. We could, yeah, I think we could have it coming like a little bit. I don't know if I want that though. Yeah, I'm gonna keep it in a natural form, so it's only affecting the trees, the ground, maybe whatever is buried here too. So I want to kind of maintain that sort of magical law. Like when you have magic and stuff, you want to have some sort of thing you would adhere to. The beard will start crying. It will. I will openly admit, like, movies, to get my beard really crying. And by beard, I mean me. I'm an emotional fella. Emotional. Apparently I can't talk very well today, though. I want just a hint of it back here. I don't want to hit it too strong, because you want to have it everywhere. I think that's enough. Just a little bit, kind of erase it out so it's just starting to pass through. And now the last thing I do Control Alt Shift E, and that makes a flat layer of everything. And I'll do the Kimchi. Are you locked in? And I do the final pass, and I can show you what I do. It's basically just a sharpen and noise. And if you look at it with and without it, you'll see it has like this nice texture of everything. It kind of unifies everything just a little bit and adds information that you might not have there before. Oh, Kimchi wants out. 1 second. 5 minutes, I'll be done. So now the last thing I want to do, and then I gotta head out, and I wonder if we have anyone else on that I can pass my stream to. Let's see. Ooh. He needs to be free. So once I'm done here, I'm gonna host Anne. She's super nice. She's Russian, but she speaks English too, so check out her stream. She's drawing people and stuff. And that's probably where we'll host her. She's super nice. She's been helping me out with a lot of stuff too. I'm going to do a curves layer and just kind of, push the contrast a little bit. And then you see, look how flat it looks before, and I do that and it's a lot more. It's a little too much because there's some dark areas here that are going into, like if I go and select it right here, it should, oh, hang on. The dark area is a little too dark for me, so I'm going to go up on my curves layer and I'm going to set the opacity and just kind of slide it down, maybe like 75%. And I'm going to check my color balance layer, and I don't know if I like that one. Oops. I'm going to delete the... I'm gonna try one more color balance layer and just see if I could tweak it, push it a little purple, maybe a little more blue. And I like to do these and then just turn them on and off. It's really subtle differences, but you can see over here in the shadows. I like that, like kind of a deeper purple color. It looks a little nicer. But yeah. Say that's a wrap. Let's see, how do we host people? I really appreciate everyone coming out and hanging out with me today. It's been a lot of fun. I think I set a host people. Let's see. Whoops, bumped into my desk. I think you do, what is it, host and then channel, the person's name probably. Let's see. Yes, DCat, I was born with a beard. Let's see, how do we get the chat to come up? Yeah, no problem. Aw, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. How does anyone before anyone leaves? I want to pass this host. Anne? Does anyone know how to do that? Can I do it like this? Can I do like that? I don't know if that works. Did I? No. Did I do it too soon? I can't tell if I'm hosting yet, so I'll just wait here for a little bit.